vacancies and bus driver vacancies. So I just want to provide an update there. As of today, we have 203 bus driver vacancies, which is approximately about 100 fewer than we had last year. So we've made some tremendous growth there in filling our vacancies there. I'd also like to do a reminder that we have the Here Comes the Bus website and mobile app, which provides real-time GPS information on bus arrival times for morning pickup and afternoon drop-off. Teacher vacancies, as of this morning, we're now at 455 teacher vacancies, which earlier in the summer, we were upwards of 1,000. So that is approximately 300 fewer than we had at this time last year. So we've done, our teams from our district to our principals have done a tremendous job in filling those vacancies, and we're in a great place to start the school year. Although we have these 455 teacher vacancies, the majority of these will be filled thanks to initiatives we implemented over the summer, including a collaboration with Kelly Education. They brought in 150 resident educators, and these individuals may be recent college graduates or career changers, and we are supporting them as they fulfill their dream to become teachers. We also have 150 long-term subs that are in their schools right now working to be in the classrooms on the first day. This demonstrates that our number of vacancies continues to decrease. Finally, this past year was the baseline year for the state's FAST assessment, which is a statewide progress monitoring tool in math and English language arts. While there is limited data for us to make comparisons because it's a new baseline test, our focus this year is strengthening student skills and their overall academic performance. We have a 5-year strategic plan adopted by our school board, which focuses on 4 priorities, starting with supportive organizational culture, followed by fiscal and operational efficiency, exceptional talent, and with all that in place, it'll lead to academic excellence and opportunities for all our students. So much to look forward to this school year. I'm so excited as we get ready for the first day of school. I'd like to thank all of our teachers, support staff, school-based and district administrators, community partners, and parents. Like I said at the beginning, there's nothing like the beginning of the school year, and we're just so excited to welcome back our students next Thursday, August the 10th, which is going to be our best school year yet. Thank you to everyone. Thank you. Hi, I am Interim Superintendent Van Ayers for Hillsborough County Public Schools, and you are watching Hillsborough Schools TV. And together, we are preparing students for life.
Hi, I'm Nadia Combs, Chair of the Hillsborough County School Board. I want to welcome you to Hillsborough County Public Schools. We serve more than 200,000 students. That includes children in preschool through adults in our workforce program.
I'm Henry Shake Washington, the Board Vice Chair. Our district is the 7th largest in America, and our team is made up of more than 24,000 people working at nearly 250 sites across the county.
Our district is diverse and dedicated. Our board meetings are held in our board auditorium on select Tuesdays at 4 p.m. The best way to serve our students and our community is to involve you, the public, in what we do.
You are welcome to email or meet with any of our board members and follow our district on social media. Board meetings are covered live by Hillsborough Schools TV on Spectrum Cable Channel 635 and Frontier Cable Channel 32.
Meetings are also streamed live on our website at hillsboroughschools.org. Closed captioning is provided on all broadcasts, and past meetings are available in our online archive.
We are interested in what the public has to say. We'll include time for audience comments before we address our business items. Our agenda and any supporting materials can be viewed online in advance. They are posted 7 days before each meeting on our website at hillsboroughschools.org.
Our vision is preparing students for life, and that means all students, every day. Todos los estudiantes, todos los días. Thank you for your interest in education. With your help, we're making decisions that shape our community's future.
The board meeting of August 8, 2023 is called to order. Member Washington will now lead us in a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May be seated.
Member Washington, will you please acknowledge our student entertainment? Student, that's what it says. I mean,
they look like students.
Adults.
They look like students anyway. But boy, what a great band. I should have had y'all to play when I got married 40-some years ago. We'd have been rocking and rolling here. So I would like to thank our elementary school teacher, rock band, One Love. These wonderful teachers entertained us at the start of the board meeting. At this point, I would like for you to come up and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Aaron Wilson. I play saxophone, and I'm teaching at Carrollwood K through 8 this year.
All right. Hi, I'm Joey Willoughby. I play trombone, and I teach at Walden Lake Elementary in Plant City.
I'm Sean Hankins. I play bass, and I'm one of the music teachers at Deer Park Elementary.
Hi, I'm Sean Motes. I play drums, and I'm music teacher at Clark Elementary.
I am Jennifer Motes, and I am also the music teacher at Clark Elementary and at Lewis Elementary, and I play keyboard.
I am Lindsay Jones. I am a singer, and I teach at Hunters Green Elementary, and I'm a Chamberlain grad.
William Whiting. I teach at McKittrick Elementary.
He plays guitar. Hi, I'm John Casanas, and I teach at Lanier Elementary, and I play trumpet. I'd just like to take a moment and acknowledge how special it is that we come here and play today, so close to the anniversary of the passing of our friend Juan, who was the namesake for our group and the inspiration for our ensemble. Juan often agreed with Billy and, like many music teachers, that shared musical experiences strengthen social bonds. And I know that's the goal of every music teacher in our district, to do the same for our students and to feel what we feel when we're making music on stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Do we have any pictures? Take pictures? That's not up. Thank you all so much, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. And I said, I want to find out where they're playing next because I want to follow them. They were just really amazing. Thank you so much. We have such incredible talent in our district. Thank you for sharing that. We had no withdrawn items today. I need a motion and a second to adopt the agenda. I have a motion by Member Gray. I have a second by Member Perez. Any discussion? Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes with five yeses. Okay, let the record reflect that all board members are present with the exception of Member Vaughn and Member Hahn, who will be joining us shortly. Board members, I'd like to go over the format of today's meeting. As a reminder, we're a nonpartisan board who believe that all children can be empowered to learn to succeed, and our decisions will be made with that understanding. To pave the way for efficient and effective agenda statements and or questions, board members will have 5 minutes to speak with 30 seconds for final thoughts. Afterward, the superintendent can respond. If you have further questions, you're asked to get back into the queue. Member Washington will now read the board guidelines.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we begin this afternoon meeting, let me quickly review the format of our school board meetings. Please silence all electronic devices. There are speakers in the room behind me that allow board members to hear the meeting upon stepping away from the dais. This meeting can be viewed with closed caption on the live webcast on cable TV on video monitors here in the auditorium. It also can be viewed with closed caption in the online video archive.
Thank you, Member Washington. We have one item scheduled for time certain, and that's 6 o'clock, and that will be employee input. Public comment. The board welcomes comments from the citizens and values your input to the board. In order to provide the most comprehensive response to your comments, our staff will follow up with you and will keep our board informed about the responses. Our school board respects the public's right to speak to the board, and we appreciate you taking the time to be here. However, it is requested when you address the board, comments are not directed personally against a board member or a staff member, but rather directed at the issue. Any behavior intended to interrupt the orderly conduct of the meeting will not be allowed. Our civility policies in place. When addressing the board, please state your name and speak clearly into the microphone. This afternoon, each speaker will have 3 minutes. Reminder that your 3 minutes start when you begin speaking. When there are 30 seconds left, you will see a yellow light on the lectern, a red light, and a chime will indicate when your time is up. We just have a few speakers today, so I think that if the first or all the speakers can line up against the wall, that would be great. And if the first speaker...
Good afternoon. My name is Nikki Daniels. I'm the Associate Director at Champions for Children. I wanted to come today and talk a little bit about our agency. Champions for Children is a nonprofit organization serving families in Hillsborough County. We have programs ranging from prenatal classes to lactation support to developmental screening and playgroups to home visiting and parenting classes. I'm here today to talk about one of our programs, Kids on the Block, and we are honored to have been serving Hillsborough County Public Schools with our Kids on the Block program for over 20 years now. It's been in existence for almost 30. We've served over 15,000 students last year. The third grade students are presented information about preventing abuse by learning no, go, and tell. Basically, say no, run away, tell somebody, kind of a message. The children then, at the end of the show, write letters to the puppets, and those letters are collected by our staff. During that last year, 86 children reported concerns about abuse, with 12 of those resulting in hotline calls as they were verified abuse that happened with those children. So it's a definite way to help prevent child abuse and also to learn about abuse that has happened and get services in there. We also have a fourth grade show where children participate in a puppet show about bullying prevention, which includes digital bullying. I know that's a really big issue for everyone right now, considering that the digital piece of that. So we include that as well. 32 children expressed concerns about bullying after that show in their letters to the puppets. We work with school guidance counselors to address those concerns. So they're not just sending a letter and then having that to be unaddressed. 73% of the funding for this program is raised through private donations. As a nonprofit agency, we're able to bring that additional support so that we can provide this program to the school system, only providing 17% of that total cost. So we're honored to be able to do that. And like I said, I've been doing it for over 20 years now. Independent analysis of our data at no cost by the University of Tampa consistently shows that elementary students are gaining critical knowledge on how to keep themselves safe. So I'm just here to say thank you. We appreciate you welcoming us into your schools for all these years. We look forward to many more years of that, and just wanted to let you know that I'm here for any questions if anybody had some. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Sharon Graham Barrett, and I'm a resident of Hillsborough County and a former public school teacher here. I want to thank you all for serving and for following state guidance and the law, as well as protecting our employees. As a therapist, I'm here today speaking with grave concern for our students, however. I'm extremely disappointed that the majority of our legislators and the hand-appointed Department of Education are not being reflective of parental rights and are pushing through laws without thoughtful feedback from the community, without adequate guidance of how to implement them in a way that does not hinder student achievement, and without much feedback from employees and other staff, and a significant lack of clarity regarding the penalties associated. We know that this movement is intentional and is intended to cause as much chaos and breakdown in our public education system as possible. And I've spoken with so many parents of all ideologies who are outraged with what's happening, specifically denying access to things like AP Psychology, teaching inaccurate Black history, and hindering critical thinking, and even taking away some Shakespeare content. That's just mind-blowing to me. So I just would like to say on the record that local school boards are supposed to be able to reflect and support their constituency, and the state is denying us that power by stripping away home rule and even targeting school board members and staff who speak up against these regressive trends. And that is a big reason why we have the highest teacher vacancy in the country. So our students, families, and employees all deserve better. And I thank you for serving, and I want to encourage you to continue serving with that courage, to do what's best for our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
My name is Marilyn Sobel. I live in Riverview. My children attended Hillsborough schools, and soon my grandchildren will as well. I've come to speak about book challenges and bans. I think we can all agree that all our children deserve an honest, accurate, and fully funded public education that reflects the full diversity of our community. Learning about our shared history allows them to learn from the mistakes of the past in order to shape a better future for everyone. I grew up in the Jim Crow South, and I am ashamed of some of the things I was taught, both explicitly and implicitly, in my home and my schools. We can and should do better. There are politicians and groups who are spreading lies about our schools and what our students are learning in order to win elections and tear down public schools, which are the foundations of our democracy. I think the challenges should be limited per person and per book to no more than 3 active requests at a time, or a certain number of requests per quarter. They are resource intensive, and people should not be allowed to waste our tax dollars without proving their case. The Washington Post analyzed book challenges for 153 school districts for the 21 to 22 school year. The majority of the over 1,000 challenges they analyzed were filed by just 11 people, and one man filed 92. The review process should include allowing public comments to be submitted in writing prior to the review, notifying stakeholders of the objection, and allowing for their public comments in advance of the meeting is critical to understanding community standards. The appeals process, including the right to appeal the decision to restrict or remove a book, should be open to all stakeholders connected with the school. If the decision to remove or restrict applies to all schools, any stakeholder in the district should be able to appeal the decision to the school board. I believe every parent has a right to have a say in what their child learns in school, but no parent has the right to say what someone else's child learns in school. That truly is respecting parents' rights. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good afternoon, Chair, members, and Superintendent. Not sure where to start today, as there's at least 5 different agenda items that I found concerning, and they continue to resurface regardless of what is said. Each of them contributes information. Many have spoken before this board in the past about the data collection that goes on each time an app collects data and sends it to the vendor site instead of to the Hillsborough County Public Schools site. And every time it comes back and is said that, or it's stated or implied, it is safe and secure. Nothing to see here. Hillsborough County has a contract that states that the data goes no further. I believe there have been parents that have come forward in the past that have proven that to be otherwise. School systems are here to protect the children and ensure each child gets a great education used to springboard into their future. And yet the ability of children to meet their grade level expectations without outside help from many supplemental academic instruction appears to be impossible given the number that are currently on this agenda. Concerning, one has a success that is measured, and I quote from the agenda item right up, by the number of licenses used, the repeat usage, and the continued rise in the curiosity score. This would be the PACBAC. I'm just wondering how curiosity score plays into a student actually graduating. Then you have Panorama, which states it aggregates the data and you cannot pinpoint which child the data comes from. Yet on page 5 of their statement of work, it states their reports are accessible via a secure website that allows users to access, and I quote, aggregated data at the individual, school, grade band, department, and district level. Again, they can use individual data. And this is on the Panorama platform, which is separate from your platform. It continues to collect student data. One of the supplemental academic instructions is Penda Learning, a science intervention resource platform for biology. This is an online subscription service that will be used by teachers to either remediate or accelerate students based on class, group, or individual need per standard. Again, it's collecting data on the individuals. I ask that you please take a step back, consider what's most important, protect the children's data, and teach without using electronic devices.
Thank you. Next speaker. This is our final speaker for today.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Linda Wiggins Chavis, and I am the Research and Policy Coordinator for Faith in Florida, previously an organizer and a former teacher. I am here to voice concerns that we have as an organization about the African American curriculum standards. 5 have come to our attention so far. SS 68AA.1.2, where it states that the standard is to describe the contact of European explorers with systematic slave trading in Africa. My concern is that there is no clarification whatsoever about what is going to be taught with this standard. And based on what the evidence that we've already seen, it appears to me that a lot of the truth will be left out. SS 68AA.2.3, we all know this is the one that includes a clarification which says that instruction includes how slaves developed skills which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. This one, as we all know, we've all heard a lot of the concerns about this one, not only regarding skills that people, and that's another problem I have, it's constantly not calling them people. They're just slaves. They are enslaved people. Slavery was their condition. So that language needs to be changed in all of those standards. However, it doesn't talk about how these people who were enslaved came over here with skills prior to being enslaved, but also that these skills were learned despite slavery, not because of slavery. SS.912.AA.11 talks about slavery in many other cultures and countries. But there is no mention of how slavery in this country was implemented based on race and the difference between slavery in other countries and chattel slavery in this country. The other, I know I'm not going to have time to go through them all. The last one I'll mention is the one about slavery increasing by natural reproduction after the slave trade was banned, with no mention about rape and forced breeding.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. And that concludes our public comment for today. I need a motion, a second to approve the consent agenda. I have a motion by Member Gray. I have a second by Member Perez. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes with 5 votes, with Member Vaughn and Member Hahn not on the dais. I will now call on Superintendent Ayers to highlight our administrative appointments.
Thank you, Chair Combs. So we have one principal appointment on our 401A this evening. It is the principal of Strawberry Crest, and it's my honor to introduce Mark Watson as the principal of Strawberry Crest. Mark is a graduate of Gaither High School. In 1999, he began his career with Hillsborough County Public Schools as a band director at Sickles High. 2009, Mark was promoted to assistant principal for student affairs at Steinbrenner. 2013, he was appointed the assistant principal for curriculum at Steinbrenner. And his current role, in 2019, he was appointed the assistant principal for curriculum at Durant High School. It's my pleasure to introduce the new principal of Strawberry Crest High School, Mark Watson.
Yay.
Come on down, Mark.
Now, if the price is right.
So Mark has a lot of support here tonight. We've got Gary Graham, his principal from Durant, Christy Rayburn, former principal at Strawberry Crest, who's now our executive director for high schools, and there's Kelly King, executive director in human resources professional standards, former principal at Steinbrenner, and our 2 area regional superintendents, Gary Brady and Rob Nelson. A lot of support for Mark. We wish you the best of luck, Mark.
Congratulations. Congratulations. And I see a lot of people out there. Oh, Mr. Washington had a question.
Yeah.
He just wanted to say
Family and friends.
all your
Family and friends are there. Please stand. Sorry about that.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Washington.
Because we know without your wife,
That's right.
it's hard to be married to an assistant principal or principal, I'm sure. A lot of work, a lot of hours. So thank you and congratulations. And thank you to all the people who are there here to support you. It takes a team. Congratulations. Okay. The following items will now be heard. C101, C102, C103, C105, C702, C703, C704, and C901.
And I'll give just a couple of minutes for people to leave as they're exiting. C101, adoption and purchase of the recommended instructional materials for agriculture, food, and natural resources. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you again, Chair Combs. C101, instructional materials for agriculture, food, and natural resources have been reviewed by District Instructional Materials Adoption Committee. And upon committee consensus, product selections were narrowed for a district-wide teacher review and teacher vote. Per Florida statute and school board policy, the district must provide a 20-day public review period and conduct a public hearing before the board can approve the purchase of a newly adopted material. The public review period was from July 5th, 2023 to July 25th, 2023, with that public hearing held at our last board meeting on July 25th. These materials will be implemented in the 24-25 school year. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C101. I have a motion by Member Washington. I have a second by Member Gray. Any discussion? Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes with 5 votes. C102, Memorandum of Agreement for the Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology First AmeriCorps Program. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Chair Combs. The MOA for the first AmeriCorps program will enable Hillsborough County Public Schools to receive the assignment of AmeriCorps members to perform services that strengthen and expand the reach of FIRST. FIRST organizes robotics competitions in elementary, middle, and high schools. They deploy volunteers to improve lives, strengthen communities, and foster civic engagement through service and volunteering. The First AmeriCorps program will support this mission by placing members with operating sites to perform activities such as serving as coaches for FIRST teams, mentoring youth, and modeling program delivery. There is no cost to Hillsborough County Public Schools for this program. If there's any additional questions, I believe we have Mr. Scott Brooks is here, and I can answer any questions you may have on 102.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve C102. I have a motion by Member Washington. I have a second by Member Gray. Member Gray, you pulled this item. We'll start with you.
Yes, I know there's no cost, but I think there is a very big profit to be made when we start again promoting the STEM, the science, technology, engineering, mathematics, because, you know, we hear a lot about getting back to the basics, but guess what? Math is huge. It leads us to higher level thinking skills for engineering. And when we talk about technology, and Superintendent Ayers, I want us to become the #1 in the nation, a STEM motivated school, because now you have York, and I know Missy out there is doing a tremendous job. But I thank you, Scott, for bringing this forward. It's a little thing, but see, Plant was #1, I believe, was in the nation, and then Middleton also. So I want us to shine as many opportunities as we can, especially today. Member Rendon and I were at and correct me, Member Rendon, the Valrico Fishhawk Chamber, and all these women, excuse me, guys, all these women were entrepreneurs. They started their own business, and actually, Miss Burkett. And what I would like to see when we talk about STEM, you're talking about innovation, analytical thinking. But what I'd like to see again in the state of the region, when we had in Tampa at USF, so our #1 lowest point is the lack of women in entrepreneurial positions. So I think that is. It's worthy to note that and to really pitch this forth for our district. So I look forward to more of the STEM activities, the nationwide contests, and I know this is not that exciting, so I'm going to stop right there. But thank you, Scott, and thank you, Madam Chair, for allowing me to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. 103, Sole Source 23157 SSD IV backpack. Incorporated, purchase of backpack digital instant student feedback and teacher grading assistance. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Chair Gomes. This purchase agreement continues the implementation of PackBack as a supplemental digital resource for students and teachers of accelerated coursework at our high school sites. PackBack is a digital writing assistant for students and a digital grading assistant for teachers. This program is integrated within the Canvas Learning Management System and is focused on grades 9 to 12 for writing across the curriculum. PackBack was introduced to Hillsborough County Public Schools in December of 2022.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C-103. I have a motion by Member Washington. I have a second by Member Gray. Member Rendon, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I do want to appreciate everyone for taking the time to have conversations with me about this project. I think we're new into the project. What I understand is we really didn't deep dive into this with a lot of our teachers until really January of 2023. And I'm excited to know that we've got 11,000 people using it. We've got, coming on board. But I do still have concerns on some of the contradictory information. We've got teachers that are grading, and then yet we have this curiosity score that we don't seem to have a connection with exactly what that means. And so I'd like to see in the future to really identify what is that curiosity score? How is our students understanding that as they're writing on PackBack that they're getting this curiosity score? What does that mean to them? When I ask, I'm excited the fact that the teachers can put a rubric in, and so that they can get good feedback based upon their rubric for the writing. That's very positive. But again, if you've got two different scores coming to students at two different times, that can be, I think, very confusing. And so for that, I'd like to see more data on that. And so, again, I don't mind voting on it today to give it a full year, but I think I'd like to have some feedback as we move forward. I think it's very important that we're going to be very transparent to exactly what a curiosity score means. What exactly feedback are they giving to students as they're writing? How is that feedback as they're writing improving their writing or not? Maybe even do an example for our board. I mean, I've got no problem being able to go in and write and show it exactly what it's doing to me. Because I think we really need to see it a little bit more. I'm very concerned that we're giving two different feedbacks to students that we're not going to be able to come back from, right? I mean, they need to know, well, wait a minute, if PackBack increased my score, why do I not have an A because I made that improvement? Well, because there's a rubric that attached to it, but then that's not the curiosity score. And that's what they're seeing as they're reading and as they're writing. So to me, that's a concern as we move forward. I understand it's new. I understand the teachers are liking it because it gives them, we've got thousands of students and teachers are very overwhelmed. We're increasing the number of writing that they're doing. We're increasing the number in all of our classes, especially in our high level learnings, our ACE, our APs, our IBs, and even our honors classes. And even in our basic standard classes, we're increasing that writing more and more. That's putting more and more pressure on our teachers. But I still want to dial back and make sure that what we're presenting to our students is giving them good, clean information. And so I'd like to see that data as we move forward on exactly what that means. I understand they're adjusting the curiosity score, maybe giving it a different title, but I really want to know exactly what that means as we move forward.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Board members, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. 105, Sole Source 23107, SSD SK Learning 2020 Incorporated, DBA Penda Learning purchase of Penda licenses, grades 6 through 12 science. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Chair Combs. PEMDA provides 14,000 unique science assessment items that have been developed into multiple choice mini assessments for every standard. PEMDA's pacing assistant service automatically aligns standards-based activities to each science course. Activities are then assigned weekly to students and are auto-graded by the system, providing students with instant feedback and scoring. The all-new PEMDA Science Student Experience incorporates a unique combination of gamification mechanics, including activity and experience points, levels, streaks, and digital badges.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve item C-105. I have a motion by Member Washington. I have a second by Member Gray. Member Rendon, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, I definitely have some comments on it. And you know, first of all, Mr. Craig, thank you for taking the time to go over all of the information. One of the things that I was very pleased about to know that the questions that are going to be used, this tool is really used as an aid for both students and for teachers. And at the end of the day, it really directly takes the standards and the teacher's curriculum that they're implementing and not test, I don't like to use the word test, but gives feedback to the students. It gives them an additional way of acknowledging and learning what they're learning in every single day. So I'm really pleased to know that that's a huge part about this. You know, unlike the other, this directly relates to the standards. All the questions that we're implementing and giving to the students directly. The other thing that really excites me about this is for our substitute teachers. When we have a teacher that's out, this is a great way that the curriculum doesn't stop, that we're really making sure that that substitute teacher is teaching directly the standards, because those tools that they're using through this program is going to be directly relating to the standard for that time period, and they don't lose time because a teacher's out for whatever reason. I also like that in some of our situations we have long-term subs, where we have some of our new teachers that are getting into some of our certificates. This is a huge aid to make sure that we are making sure our teachers are teaching to the standards no matter what level they are at, whether they're new, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, long-term subs. And so for that, I'm very grateful we've got a program that we're able to implement any given time and be able to work directly with students and teachers to meet the standards and keep that ball rolling for academic excellence. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Board members, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. 702, piggyback. You know, I'm going to wait for this item because Member Vaughn pulled it, and I know she'll be here, so I'm going to continue on and then go back to that, just, you know, out of respect for her. 703, addendum. So we'll move on to 703, addendum for agreement 12176 MST Insurance Administration Services from Broadspire Services Incorporated. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Broadspire will manage our workers' compensation claims while reducing costs and overhead through loss adjustments and medical management. Broadspire shall maintain the current pricing agreement terms unchanged for the upcoming year's term of the agreement. The company serves as the provider of claim management services regarding workers' compensation, auto, and general liability for the Safety and Risk Management Department. The vendor will provide necessary services according to the terms and conditions listed in the agreement.
Thank you. I need a motion and second to approve item C703. I have a motion by Member Gray. I have a second by Member Washington. Member Gray and myself, we pulled this. We'll start with you, Member Gray.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I apologize for pulling this, but I didn't. I was gone when we had this coming forth. So I did have a question, pretty simple one, financially. On the second page where it says funding source, choose an item, district funds, we went from 805,000 to 826,000 the following year. So 2023, 805,000, and 2023-24 up to 26,000. And I just was curious why the increase. It's probably very obvious because everything else is increasing, but just for my edification, thank you.
That's part of it, Ms. Gray. It's a great question. And it's a proposed cost. And the reason it's a proposed cost is because this group actually charges based on the claims. So if there's more claims for workman's comp or there's more issues that come through that, their cost goes up. So it's a proposed. But the reality is that we've had more claims. We've had more workman's comp cases. We've had more liability cases and auto liability cases over these past 2 years. And that's why it's gone up, in addition to the normal what you just said, which is the cost of doing business has gone up for those things too. So those two things have made it go up. And I also wanted to say one other thing, that this will be the last year that we do the renewal for this. Next year we'll go out for another RFP so that we have open competition. That is not a knock on Broadspire. Broadspire has been wonderful for us. They've been very supportive. Our mod rate, which is kind of the rate that how much we pay versus the ends that we have, is lower than almost any place in the country. So we're very happy with Broadspire, but we think it's fair to go put it out for competition. So long answer to a short question. Yes, costs have gone up. We've also had some more claims as well.
Yeah, indeed, Broadspire has served us well over the years. So thank you for that explanation. And that's all. That's all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. And I had the same questions as far as the increase and just finding out when's the last time that we went out and we talked about how long it's been quite a while. And it sounds like a great, it's done a great job, but we want to make sure to competitive and to make sure that we're going out for bid regularly to make sure we're getting the best prices. But thank you for assuring me that. Okay. Board members, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. 704, approve the bus routes for 2023-2024 school year. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the bus routes for 23-24 school year, the number of routes have not increased to what was presented to the board last year, which is 837 routes. This year's routes were changed in some cases to allow for easier modification regardless of the opening plan. Due to continuous rising real estate and rent costs, we anticipate an increase of displaced students as the year progresses. South County still represents the highest growth area along with the highest number of vacancies. Because of the number of bus driver vacancies, we do anticipate delays in service, especially while students are learning bus procedures. We're asking the board, staff, parents, and community for their patience as we work diligently to transport students to and from school.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve item C 704. I have a motion by Member Washington. I have a second by Member Perez. Member Vaughn pulled this item, but does anyone have any comments or questions about that? Board members, please vote when your lights appear.
Ms. Combs? Mr. Farkas just want to make a comment real quick.
I just wanted to thank the board members that came out. Those of you that came out to the transportation workshop that we started at the beginning of the year, and I'm sure there'll be pictures of it too. A lot of times we talk about recruitment for our bus drivers, and that's important. We need bus drivers. We're 200 short. We talk about that a lot, and we'll continue to. But sometimes we forget about the 600 to 800 bus drivers that are out there every single day doing double runs, doing overtime on a regular basis. If it wasn't for them being dedicated and having the patience that some of us, you imagine how tough it is to drive in rush hour, and they do it every day, all day. I just wanted to make sure we, give accolades where they belong, and they're with our current bus drivers that are out there doing it. And I think you guys saw the enthusiasm and the eagerness they had when they were at their beginning of the year meeting. It takes that. They have a really tough job, and I look forward to negotiations and making sure we do that. But I want to make sure we reward and give accolades where they're doing. That's the current bus drivers, staff, aides, and attendants that are in transportation, routing and planning, and everyone, because it is a difficult job, a very difficult job, and they do a great job with what they have.
Thank you so much, and I know we all concur. It's definitely one of the hardest jobs, and the people who see the students the first and the last, so really important. Thank you. Board members, it passes unanimously. We'll move on to the next item, which is 901, Agreement for Technical Services, 23165 ATSIV, Champions for Children, to provide anti-bullying and anti-child abuse programs to 3rd and 4th grade students. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through this partnership with Champions for Children, all public elementary schools in Hillsborough County Public Schools will be able to schedule the Kids on the Block Child Abuse Prevention and Bullying Stereotyping Prevention for their 3rd and 4th grade students. The Kids on the Block program typically provides the program to approximately 24,000 students each year. The contract will begin on July 1st, 2023, and this contract ends June 30, 2024. Participants who receive the 3rd grade child abuse prevention program will increase their knowledge of the different types of child abuse and practice the know, go, tell safety message.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. I need a motion and a second to approve item C 901. I have a motion by Member Gray. I have a second by Member Washington. Member Gray, you pulled this item. Do you have any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you especially Nikki Daniels for bringing this program. I'm glad that it is recognized in front of everyone. I have experienced the greatness of this program, the efficacy, how the children really do in their, not only in their intellect, but they respond to the puppetry and they get the message in a way that sticks with them because it identifies with their age group. You have 3rd grade, with the child abuse, 4th grade with the bullying, harassment, and then I was thinking also, because the average age now is 10 years old for child porn, and such sites are Disney porn, The Little Mermaid, things are going on in front of my grandkids that we would never even know. But again, working with the sheriff office, there are a lot of oh my gosh, times. And I'll go over it with Shane McCrae, but and Holly Sayer, of course. But I do want us to look at what really is going on our cell phones, because we have a cell phone policy. It's just during instructional time. But things are changing. We got districts now that are doing cell phones all day during school. Reason is they're getting a hold of sites, social media sites, and instead of studying and doing what the teacher's doing, they're getting sucked in. But I'll go into that more during my comments. But anyway, Nikki, if you would consider that, and we can talk later. But thank you for bringing this forward. It's a great, successful program as the data reveals. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Rendon?
I just want to take a moment to thank Champions for Change. It's a great program, and I had the opportunity to meet with some of the staff that were there and to meet with some of our community members that are partnering and supporting this organization. I don't think many people understand that when our schools were closed during COVID all across our country, the increase in abuse was tremendous. And so making sure that children understand what abuse is and where they can get help and how they can do that is just an overwhelming passion of mine. So I thank you for everything you do for our kids in our county.
Thank you, Member Rendon. Member Hahn?
Thank you, Member Combs. Do we have any impact data from that program by any chance?
Let me see if we can pull that. Yeah. Go ahead, Ms. Brown.
Yes, thank you very much. We do have information that tells us that 86 reports of abuse in the last school year. Students also write letters to the puppets after the bullying show, and there were an additional 32 reports of concerns regarding bullying reported by students last year.
Have we seen our bullying numbers go down, just out of curiosity?
I don't have a response to that overall.
Yeah, we would have to maybe pull some of our Panorama data, Dr. Hahn, and see if we can pull some numbers from our student survey around Panorama to see if we can correlate some of those numbers to the effect here on 3rd and 4th grade.
Yeah, I think there was also an increase of about 60% to this contract. Why is that?
Okay.
Thank you. There was an increase of from $15,000 to $25,000, and that is a result of the contributions that were made by all partners. We have been at a $15,000 rate from the beginning of the program altogether. We do know that last year there was a $50,000 award, a Lightning Hero Award, that was awarded to Champions for Children that was all dedicated to Kids on the Block. That award was a one-time donation or award that was given to Champions for Children, and so it no longer is in existence for this upcoming year. So therefore, we picked up the additional $10,000, but there are multiple donations that contribute to this particular program that averages about $144,000 annually.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Member Hahn. Board members, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay. We're going to go back to 702, the piggyback PGB 23160, PGB LG bus purchases. Superintendent Ayers will highlight this item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This agreement would approve the purchase of 100 replacement school buses as outlined in our 22-23 capital replacement plan. The 100 built replacement school buses are 70 Thomas built buses and 30 Thomas type C buses with a wheelchair lift. The district adopted and implemented a 10-year plan to replace the aging bus fleet in a manner that would keep the safety of our students and staff as a top priority and manage this capital investment efficiently. The current lead time for buses is 1 year, and vendor prices are set to increase on December 31st, 2023. With a 10% increase, the district would need an additional $1,444 million to purchase 100 buses. Is that right, Chris? 1 million. That's what I thought. I need to put my glasses on. Let me put these on. Oh, save us some money here. The district is continuing to pursue grants for electric buses through the EPA with the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Only 3 counties in Florida were awarded 30 buses. We will be submitting our application for the second round for 20 electric buses before the deadline on August 22nd, 2023. Thank you.
Thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve item C702. I have a motion by Member Washington. I have a second by Member Gray. I know Member Vaughn is not here, and I know that she wanted to. I know Mr. Farkas. I know she really wants to go in deep detail about the electric buses. So if you could do that for us, we'd appreciate it.
You bet. And we made sure we put it in Superintendent Ayers' comments to make sure we have pursued, we will continue to pursue. This time we partner with the city and the county and the Clean Cooling Commission. We are trying to do all we can to make sure we look like a viable option. As Superintendent Ayers said, the federal government has been real kind to Florida with the electric buses, but we're going to continue to push and make sure that happens. We meet on a regular basis with the city and the county. Laura Hill, the general manager of transportation, does that, as well as our team. We're really hoping we get these next 20 buses. I just want to remind staff, or remind the board, the current electric cost buses are 3 times more expensive than traditional buses without the infrastructure. So we need a grant if we're going to make that a viable option for us. They're literally over $300,000 a piece plus the infrastructure. We know it's important. We know we want to be a good community partner. But we also want to be a good fiscal agent. As you see, part of this is being paid for out of CIT. The rest of it is millage. So that's $8 million that would go into air conditionings and classrooms and things like that we're putting in buses, which I agree with. But we'd buy 1/3 of those. We'd buy 33 electric buses, and the chance we can buy 100 buses that we're buying right now. So it's important that we pursue it. Electrification is a big part for us. We are all for electric buses. We just have to make it a viable option. We owe that to the taxpayers to do that. We will continue to pursue it. We have spent lots of time. The grants team, Ms. Brown's grants team, has been wonderful to work with. We've worked hand in hand with them to get our application in. We've had partners that come on board. The city. But unfortunately, we can't decide where that money goes to. If we could, we would have already had them. So I'm hoping this time we get those 20 buses, and then we can come back and have that ribbon cutting and talk about those electric buses, because it is important. But it's got to be a viable fiscal option for us, and right now it's not.
Thank you, Mr. Farkas. Member Perez?
Hi, you know I'm your buddy with these electric buses. But, you know, for me, it's about the air quality, especially for our children in the inner city who are, you know, our Black and Latino children, that the air quality really affects them when it comes to their well-being. And you mentioned that we did went for one of the grants. I guess we didn't get it.
We've actually applied for 3 grants. This is the 4th one that we've gone for.
Okay.
This one's a little bit broader and a little bit more money, so we think we have a much better chance to get it. But this is the 4th one. We have not gotten 3 of those. The last one was the one where that Mr. Ayers talked about, that we had only 3 counties in Florida, even though over 50 applied for it. So they're not real fond of Florida. So I'm hoping, because it's not just that, it's also the magnet ramps. I think most of you have been on our magnet ramps where there's 50 to 75 buses all sitting there and stacked up, ready to change and magnet transfer. So there's a lot of places where electric buses would be a benefit to our kids and our inner city kids too, because that's also a lot of our Black and Hispanic kids.
Now, when it comes to the partnership between Heartline and does Heartline have any electric buses at all?
I do not believe so. I don't want to speak for them. The last I checked, they did not have those, but they're trying to get them as well. The city and the county is a big part of it because they can help provide infrastructure. So that's why their letters of support are a big, important part. The sheriff's department's also doing some electrification, so we've talked with them a bunch about how they've done it. Obviously, they're unique. They have a little bit more bigger fleet than we do. But still, we want to learn from the people that have done it and try not to make any mistakes that they might have made and learn from their lessons.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Member Perez. Member Gray?
You know, I do appreciate this conversation, Mr. Farkas, and I do appreciate you paying attention to it. And thank you, Member Perez, for kind of pressing the button on let's listen. Can you just tell us the difference between the cost of a school bus, you know, the regular kind, and I know they're expensive, and an electric bus? Because you've done that before, and there was a huge difference of cost.
Yes, ma'am. So the current buses are about $110,000, the one you're purchasing right now, which is expensive. An electric bus right now is about $330,000, and that's without any infrastructure. That's just the bus, because you have to have a repair facility, which we know we only have to do once. But the charging stations, every bus that we'd have need to have a charging station. And one other part to what Ms. Perez talked about, there's also a length of what they do, about how far they can go, how many miles they can go on a charge. And we just talked about our bus driver vacancies. So if the current setup where they've got double backs at elementary and middle and high school and field trips during the middle of the day and then athletic events at night, wouldn't be able to do all that in one day and have to 110 versus 330. It's 3 times the cost right now.
Yeah, and I believe that one time we said the estimated length of time before we can even afford or it's practical would be at least 5 years. I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct. That's why we're so actively pursuing grants, because grants pay for that, and we just have to do infrastructure. We can make that work, and that's a more realistic cost for us. So if we were able to get a grant, we'd be able to do it the next day.
Yeah, and what's happening is we're getting approached by vendors and pretty, actually it was last year, they were pretty, let's just say aggressive. And I'm glad that we set the record straight. The cost is prohibited at this time. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Gray. That was my question. Member Washington's like, I wonder if they have them in other districts. And I said, that's one of my questions. Are there some electric buses in other, and you don't have to answer it now because I hate to put you right on the spot.
It's our job to know that. So we do look and see that they have it. So the 3 districts that got it in the grant have them. There are districts that have done pilots that either borrowed money to get those or that have had capital taxes for more than we have. They've, like Orange County, that's had 3 or 4 reauthorizations of those. So there are a few, but they're minimal because of the things we just talked about. They're so cost prohibitive. But 100% we look forward and hope we get that grant. Believe me, the first people that will get the notification if we get the grant will be the board. So hopefully we will.
And then my other question is, I know one of the largest costs is the electric charging stations. That's a big cost and convenience. Is there anything to working with the city or, working together to share those charging stations and what that would look like? Is there a plan for that?
There is. Obviously, there's a challenge with safety because the way that the city does it is they offer charging stations to the public. So it would have to be their vehicles. I mean, obviously, if it's a city vehicle, it could be behind the fence. If it's a public vehicle, it's got to be in front of the fence. So it kind of limits us a little bit, but 100% the city and the county have both said, if you get the grant, we will go together with you and talk about sharing costs for charging stations.
Okay, thank you. And Member Vaughn, this is our last item for today. I hate to catch you, but it is about electric buses. Yes, it is 702, the one you pulled, the grant. Am I on a TV show? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Board members, please vote when your lights appear. And it passes unanimously. We will now move to superintendent comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So my superintendent's comments this evening, again, we'll set everything up around our strategic plan. So first, around supportive organizational culture. It has been a very busy week for my staff. I know all of our teachers coming back on Wednesday. Just to see all the energy out in our schools. Cannot wait until Thursday. But it's been a busy week, and just want to kind of highlight some of the great things that are happening to start. So we had our back to school press conference at Hillsborough. We had Nicolette, Mick, and Shinovia were able to speak at our back to school press conference. It was great to hear from our Excellence in Education winners to provide their perspective. So we kind of opened up at our back to school press conference at Hillsborough. Good morning there. And then probably my 2 favorite events, and 3 all at once here, but to have the opportunity to see all of our transportation team, and Chris, thanks for setting this up and making sure our team was to go out there and be with that transportation folks. So 1,400 transportation workers total, all over in Plant City. Really cool opportunity to go talk to them. You talk about energy. They got it. It was awesome to see. And then same thing with our student nutrition services team, about 1,000 there. Everybody, that whole team of people. Again, we always say it can't do it together. This team of people, talk about ready to go to work on Thursday, that's them. And we also had our new teacher breakfast at Plant City. I know Member Rendon and myself were there over in Plant City to welcome our new teachers in Plant City. So Professional Study Day, we had 2 Professional Study Days, the Music Professional Study Day, CTE over at Gaither, and then our IB Symposium, which was the first time that we've had all of our IB teachers kind of together. Over 300 educators gathered together at Roland Park, took part in various breakout sessions which covered topics such as service project and student action, promoting an international mindset, and instructional AI in high school courses. So that's the first time that we've been able to get all of our IB together. So Backpack Hero Day at Bay Life Church, Backpack Hero Day on July 29th was geared to provide school-age children with backpacks in time for school and educate parents on the resources available to them in East Hillsborough community. So Ms. Perez, thank you for being out there, representing us out there. I think that was on the same day that we were all, I think, at Raymond James Stadium with the others. So thanks for representing us over there. Fiscal and operational responsibility. Just wanted to take a minute, and Chris kind of alluded to it. We have an incredible team that's led by our Deputy Superintendent of Operations. The amount of work that's gone in to have schools be ready to go this Thursday, his entire team, the maintenance team, I can't say enough. I know board, you as well, realize, what we have in that team of people to have schools ready to go this Thursday. Just Chris, from all of us, thank you to your team for all that they do. I know they've been working quite a few hours here just trying to get everything ready to go so that first day is perfect for our students. So thank you. Some district updates. So I wanted to provide an update on Profferfish. We will be moving to a new and improved process for capturing and recording volunteer service and paid work hours for Bright Futures eligibility. So there was legislation passed in July 2022 that gave students more flexibility to earn hours for Bright Futures by changing from community service to volunteer service and also providing work hours to meet that requirement without the need for a pre-approval. So students will not, the system we're transferring to, students will not lose the hours they've submitted. This is just a simplified process after listening to our counselors and team that has already been shared with secondary counselors and will be sent to all high schools families via parent link and posted on the district website on August the 10th. This decision led to a cost savings of $117,000 for the paper pencil system for our volunteer service hours. So last Thursday, we talked about it's been a busy week. So last Thursday, I was in a superintendent Zoom with all the district superintendents, and the discussion at the time came about AP psychology. In that, with AP psychology, the question became about, teaching of the AP psychology course and teaching it without teaching a standard 6.7. College Board, so you got a state saying that let's teach the course, but teach it without teaching standard 6.7. College Board came out with a statement that next day on that Friday, that was Thursday evening, College Board came out. So we met on Thursday evening, College Board put out a statement. To be clear, any AP psychology course taught in Florida will violate either Florida law or college requirements. Therefore, College Board advised Florida districts not to offer AP psychology until Florida reverses their decision and allows parents to take the full course. So we've gone back and forth, all the school districts really in this entire state on what to do. There's still, as we sit here right now, not much clarity, but Hillsborough County, we made a decision last Friday. We are lucky that we have all 28 of our high schools that are Cambridge certified high schools, which gives us the opportunity to offer for sure college credit. By utilizing AP psychology, there's uncertainty for our students whether they'd be able to earn that college credit. Being that we have Cambridge and all 28 of our high schools are Cambridge certified, it is a guarantee on that college credit, depending, of course, on their score. But that was a decision we had to make on Friday. I want to thank Giselle and her team. We had some work on Monday to kind of get our teachers prepared to teach the ACE psychology course. So that was a decision we made on Friday to move forward. I just wanted to kind of highlight some of the other districts that have done the same thing. So you see other districts, Brevard, Collier, Duval, us, all of our Pasco, Pinellas are transitioning to the ACE IB course. Only ones we know right now keeping AP psychology as it sits are Sarasota and St. John's. And as you can see, Escambia and Polk are not offering the AP psychology. So that was something, again, like I talked about, it's been a busy week. This is something that crept up on us on Thursday, and all of a sudden it became an issue and having to make a decision. And I want to thank, again, Colleen Fawcett and your team for all the work they did to kind of put all of our heads together and come up with and make a decision which was best for our students. Shakespeare. So I wanted to take a minute and highlight, there was an article that was written in the Tampa Bay Times about Shakespeare. We've gotten a lot of publicity around Shakespeare, so I just wanted to take an opportunity to bring some clarity to what's been in the newspaper and what we've kind of heard around Shakespeare. So first and foremost, I want to be clear: we have not excluded Shakespeare from our high school curriculum. Students will have physical books to read excerpts from the Shakespeare novels. The Shakespearean novels are also available in media center collections throughout the district for student checkout. And as state standards evolve, we adjust curriculum guides to ensure standards are supported in the classroom. So if we remember, last year was the first year of the best standards. So in 2022-23, which is the first year of implementation of the new standards, we utilized Romeo and Juliet in grade 9, Macbeth in grade 10, and Hamlet in grade 12, were all implemented as full novel studies. This year, all 3 of those Shakespearean titles are included in the best book list units at the corresponding grade level as excerpts only. So to meet those benchmarks, students will be exposed to 5 to 7 excerpts of work covering multiple literary periods such as classical author, Renaissance author Shakespeare, and contemporary author Bradbury within those units. This is key here. So the best benchmarks encourage reading across a wide variety of genres, authors, styles, and literary periods. The FAST assessment, which we talked about, those are our PM1, PM2, and PM3 data points, pulls questions from 30% of the books on Florida's best book list. Our instructional guides, which what our teachers follow, reflect a decrease in the number of novels read in their entirety from last year to this year. So now our instructional guides, it will include the following novels to be read in their entirety, and you can see for grade 9, grade 10, and grade 12 in our English and reading. Move now to suspended agenda. We can come back for comments on some of this, but I will move to suspended agenda. If there's any questions, I can provide those. We'll start with Mr. Farkas. If you just want to provide a quick update on, I know for our economic and community development, our UU groundbreaking.
I appreciate everyone that came out and got to sweat with us out there under the sun after we went out for the shovel. No, it's going to be one of our largest high school. The graphic talks about it. It's great. We're going to post the video on the website because they have an interactive website that kind of talks about that site. 3,400 student stations, our largest high school we've ever built. The reason we decided to build that large is there's no land down there. I mean, the reality is there's a need right now. You've seen Sumner, how overcrowded they are right now. This will relieve Sumner and Leonard for all the future growth that's down there. It's going to be a state-of-the-art high school and extremely beautiful. Harvard Jolly is the design professional, and Beck Construction with Envision is going to be the one that actually builds it. The design's pretty much done. So as you saw, there's people moving dirt right now, and it's going to be almost a 2-year build to get this whole thing done, but it's going to be beautiful. It's right on Lake Waimama. We're very excited to do the ribbon cutting and have that down there. We look forward to some of the events that will take place, the topping out party and other things that you'll see. Excuse me. One thing I'd like to add to it, there's actually a central plant is an important part. So the reason that's important is we'll have one central plant, chillers that run all 3 of the sites. There's a future elementary and a middle school there. The cost of that is part of this project. So we're actually planning for future growth, and the elementary school and middle school will not be quite as expensive as they would be because we were able to do that central plant with our energy. It's more efficient, allows us to have more capacity and redundancy. So if AC goes out, it allows us to actually help the other sites. So we look forward to the elementary and middle school that are down there. Again, I want to thank the county and Lennar Homes, which helped us get this approved and get this plan going, and the board for approving this bill. But we're excited about what that looks like and look forward to that ribbon cutting here in a couple of years.
Thank you, Mr. Farkas. So we actually have 3 suspended agenda updates this evening. So the first one was economic and community development, and the next suspended agenda update is our literacy update, and I'm going to turn this over to Tracy Bergman. Tracy?
Good evening, everyone. So our literacy suspended agenda is aligned to just 2 pieces of the strategic plan. The first one being just that idea of exceptional talent as we work to develop our teachers this summer. Our first piece was held just last week at Professional Study Day, where all of our pre-K through 12th grade teachers were provided training as an entire group across different high schools in the district with the purpose of deepening their understanding of the best benchmarks, They learn how to use their curricular materials, deepen their understanding of them. They receive training in best practices and strategies aligned to the benchmarks. And they also worked to dig deeper into the district-created instructional guides together so they can meet the needs of all of our learners. Our elementary sites were held at their individual schools and were led by teacher leaders and some of our literacy coaches, also giving an opportunity for those people to develop their leadership skills through the trainer-trainer model. In addition, our K-5 team has been very busy this summer, training in particular, focusing on our early literacy initiatives. As you are all aware, we have rolled out both UFly and the DIBELS piece, as well as last year beginning with Flamingo Literacy. So we had over 1,300 kindergarten through second grade teachers trained in UFly. That's about 2/3 of our ELA teachers in those grade level bands. In addition, our coaches and teacher leaders also attended as part of their instructional leadership piece. That same amount also attended DIBELS training, so they are ready to implement as well. We still have some more professional development and job embedded coaching to move forward with as we move forward with the school year. So our team is ready. We have trainings lined up and we are excited to share them with our teachers. In addition, we have our Flamingo Literacy course that is the structure for small group instruction that also aligns to the science of reading. And we have filled up every session we have offered since the spring. And we offered a self-paced course in response to the teachers, just to give them an overview and kind of a taste. Within about less than a week, we had over 700 teachers enrolled in a self-paced course. So the excitement is there. We are getting to them. We still have a lot more to get to as we continue to train, but our team is ready and able and is looking forward to being in schools beginning on Thursday so that they can begin that piece and continue to support our teachers in our implementation. In terms of academic excellence, one of our goals, and we shared this at the June 6th board meeting when the agenda item actually came to you guys, is to really provide scaffolds and supports for all of our learners, in particular our English language learners. We know that language acquisition and content are both critical for those students when we're thinking about instruction. We're not just thinking about content benchmarks, texts, but we're also thinking about the language demands that are within there. So we have partnered with the English Learner Success Forum, which is a consortium of teachers and researchers, leaders that have worked with our team just on understanding benchmarks of quality when it comes to curriculum creation, and have really worked with us in terms of giving us feedback in terms of improvements that can happen in our grades 3 through 5 guides. We decided to start with 3-5 simply because K2's got a lot going on in the other area, so we went there. So our team is excited to delve in and work closely with the ELL department as well as the dual language piece to kind of see how can we best provide our teachers with those supports and resources to meet the needs of those learners and make sure everybody has equal access to the curriculum and the content. In addition, the LSAP consortium will also be able to provide PD to both ELL and general education teachers. More to come in terms of the dates. We're still kind of finalizing that out where that will be, but it'll support them in the instructional delivery. And last but not least is the Dual Language Leadership Institute that was held last week and sponsored by Melissa Morgano and her team. But our team had an opportunity to partner with them to present together to the dual language teachers at their annual institute. We talked about just that common vision of biliteracy and what that means, and the idea that we're not just teachers of Spanish, teachers of English and content in a bubble, that we have to work together to bridge that gap between the languages in order for our students to have success. So we shared our programs and our programmatics and talked about how they connected and gave the teachers some real world strategies that they can apply as they go off to implement. So that's it for me.
Thank you, Tracy. And we have one additional update from Mr. Young around our Just Elementary.
Thank you, Superintendent Ayers. So in the spirit of transparency, caring, and collaboration, we continue to have high interest in Just, which is a good thing. It says to us that the community truly understands that we're going to pay close attention. And really, I've had a wonderful time just going out and meeting with individuals who still want some answers. They want clarity. And what I'm finding is just having that opportunity to meet everyone where they are is really putting people at ease. As we transitioned, we knew that the community was very concerned about how would we progress monitor each child and what schools they went to. So with Ms. McCrae's team and members of my team, have identified those schools, and we've also received plans from each of those elementary schools of how they intend to ensure that it's not just the first day of school, but how will we plan to progress monitor the transition of all of our still children from just elementary to ensure that the families are feeling comfortable, the students are feeling comfortable, and that it is an inclusive environment that principals have worked very hard to make sure that students transition. The last piece, we continue to meet with community members as shared, but with the community task force, we have decided to go from once a month meeting to bi-weekly meetings. We have a lot of work to do, and it's very condensed, and we have to still unpack a lot around early childhood education. We have to unpack a lot around just helping the community to understand what instruction and teaching and learning will look like, and equally what the facility will be used for within that 2-year period. So we're finding it very beneficial to move to a 2-week in exchange and meeting with the community versus the monthly meeting that we had planned previously.
Thank you, Mr. Young. So my final comment is around that, which is our Hillsborough Strong. So, Mr. Washington, I think it was you that had the idea for us to wear the shirts, and my staff. This is really a sign for what's to come, and this really makes this really looks good. I appreciate everyone. This is ready time. It's go time now, right? So we start on Thursday, and I will tell you just the energy that I felt out in schools. My staff has been incredible. This has been an incredible team that's been out supporting principals and teachers. We will not forget what we're about, which is supporting students, and we'll always keep that at the forefront. So excited to get this school year kicked off. It feels like it's been an incredibly long summer. Time to get back to some structure and some routine and get the bell to ring on Thursday morning. We'll have a busy day on Thursday, and look forward to a great school year. Hillsborough Strong, and consistency will be our key, right? So we've got some momentum. The key is going to be continuing that momentum consistently throughout this entire school year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, can we do picture
now, or should we'll do it now or the end?
Let's do it now.
Oh, okay? Let's do it now. I didn't know that. Yeah, let's all go down now.
Oh, yeah, we go down. Yeah, comfortable.
Just highlighting how short I am.
That's right. That's how you used to do it. Selfies back in the car. I know it. That's right. Just in that seat.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. We will now move to employee input, and then finally the board comments. We'll take employee input. Even though we hear public comment at the beginning of the meeting, it's sometimes difficult for employees of our district to attend meetings at 4 o'clock. There are many ways for employees to make their voices heard, including through board wants of our agenda, we're creating another avenue for employees to speak to the board. We're setting aside 30 minutes for employees of the district to speak to the board about any issues that are on your mind. This is not intended to be a discussion about specific agenda items on tonight's agenda, but rather an opportunity for you to speak to the board at any issues related to your job or the district. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. I think we just have a couple speakers tonight. Okay.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Rob Crete, CTA. Love Hillsborough Strong. I think it's amazing. I've been spending a lot of time at the sites. I'm just coming from Potter Elementary, one of our amazing, they're doing great work as one of our community schools. If you've not been out there, these community schools, by the way, we need to find a way to create more of them here in Hillsborough County, because what happens at these sites is the community recognizes that we listen. And I will tell you that there is cautious optimism out there with our students, with our teachers, with our support professionals, and I'm hoping that we can capitalize on it. Mrs. Superintendent, your welcoming message was well received by everybody out there. Everyone's feeling calmer. They feel like we're going in the right direction, and I think that that speaks to Hillsborough Strong. We want to make sure that we take that momentum into bargaining. I will tell you that we've had some of the greatest bargaining sessions that I've ever been part of. And I've been on the board before I was doing this job. We're just communicating better. We're going to get there. And I know that we're going to start talking about, funds and what we could do for our employees. I'm hoping that we could really look at that as an opportunity to take that cautious optimism and make it veritable, true, hey, we're all in on this. And then we'll make those shirts that say Hillsborough CTA Strong as well, and we'll be all in sync with all of that. But I truly am thankful for where we're at. I'm feeling it here in the district, and let's take it to the next level. We could do it. So thank you all.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. My girl Heidi.
Hi, good evening. Heidi Glick, Alonzo High School. And I'm also on the board for CTA, and I want to personally welcome you. I'm excited to see you here. I enjoyed serving on committees with you in the past. And I want to reiterate that when I come up here and I speak, I'm not just speaking for Alonzo or myself. I do represent 15,000 employees in the district, and when I make my comments, I make them about all of us. And I do also want to reiterate what Rob said. There's a lot of positive energy in the district. We had our open house at Alonzo today. It was amazing. I had like over 200 kids come and parents, and it was just fantastic. And I do have concerns about the large numbers, ALSU students and parents, so let's capitalize on a plan to do something about distributing the numbers a little bit better. I know I need to put phones in backpacks, but if I put them in the only place where they are, then I can't go to the board because I'll trip over them. And I know a lot of classes are like that. Our numbers are at 40. When I started teaching way back in the previous century, that was pretty normal, but our classrooms were larger. So we really need to do something about our numbers, and I know you guys can come up with something, and I want a shirt, because those are really cool. Extra large, please. Alonzo High School, thank you very much.
We need to get her one. She's always here. We need to get Miss Glick one. She's always here. Okay. Thank you, and that closes our comments for our employees. We will now move to board comments. I'll start with Member Gray.
I have to read fast because I have a lot of verbiage. First off, I wish the teachers well, and they're so excited, Van Ares and board members, as you know. I also want to have a special appreciation time to state the following. Operations, Mr. Farkas, you all have gotten the schools in great shape. You've been hardworking, but I want to thank Ben Moore, Corey Culpepper, David Valdez, Kelvin Mack, Michael Tucker, Pete Whittle. But at any rate, I didn't forget, I just didn't have their names. But at any rate, thanks to all of them who have made a marvelous contribution, lickety-split. I have a sad subject to talk about, not sad, but some of us who are parents and grandparents. Our Hillsborough County Public School Student Online Safety for Human Trafficking, we thank Amber Johansson of First Priority for her discussion of how pornography has risen by 73% among our children The average age that our children are seeing now pornographic on social media, use of the phone, is 10 years old. Roughly 25% of our youth are watching pornography during their the Hillsborough County Sheriff Department, the No More Foundation, Paving the Way, First Priority, FBI, and offices of the State Attorney Ashley Moody. Our committee has been working very diligently on awareness campaigns, but let me just back up. How does human trafficking, how's it being done? Well, it's done through grooming. We all hear this, but there's actually a systematic way of luring our youth through sites such as The Little Mermaid, Disney porn. Those sites are very subliminal. When they get started, the children begin to get desensitized and they get more and more involved, and it gets more sophisticated, making them very easy targets for human traffickers to begin either meeting with them, talking with them, basically connecting with them in various pornography is especially dangerous because it obviously attracts young children who almost always access this insidious online pornography. Either they do it accidentally or it may lay the groundwork for pornography addiction, objectification of women and children, and increase the opportunity for traffickers to groom and engage with our youth and our more mature youth. Action steps. 3 months ago, and this is for Hillsborough County Public Schools, I pursued an updated policy on cell phone usage, mirroring Senator Burgess, only during instructional time. 2 other board members thankfully brought their version forward with a tentative agreement of edits on the agreed PASCO policy. We are reminded that as I talk about pornography, other districts are now closing in on having no cell phone service during the school day. And this is a serious matter. Orange County is an example, but I can give you other counties. Number 2, and this is action steps, our Student Online Safety Committee, which include Hillsborough County PTA, our own staff, thankfully, and previously mentioned law enforcement, Florida agencies. We plan on 3 central parental awareness meetings, 1 in Town and Country, 1 in the urban core, and 1 in Waimama. In the fall will be Leto, in January Middleton, and in March Wholesome Church, which is Waimama. Third, we will have, again, Van Ayers, which would lend itself through the Social Studies Department to make the students and the teachers aware of the human trafficking and those situations. Oh, boy. I also want to say this. School board members and Superintendent Van Ayers, this is an issue which in fact impacts the culture of our schools. I welcome the school board members either individually or collectively to take part in these awareness campaigns. And of course, we have a lot of community engagement. So all this is to say, this is a silent cell phone concern that is going on even to our young babies and children. And I'm very worried. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Gray. Member Washington.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Pablo, you can, I tell you, the last couple of weeks, boy, we've been really busy. We have I had opportunity, and so did Ms. Perez, to go out to the summer camp luncheon with Mrs. Carr, Ms. Oates, and Ms. Thomas. It was it was really nice. The kids were well behaved. They learned a lot because we spoke about the school board operation and the procedure for school boards. We talked about law enforcement. We talked about just being a good person, about voting, being able to vote, how important it is for you to vote. And I had, for the lunch, I brought them a barbecue dinner, so they had a great time, believe me. moving along here, we also had the Bullitt Family Foundation back to school, and we all was involved in that. We had a great time, and I know Dr. Hahn had left, so me, Patty, and Nadia, and we just had a great time with the superintendent, and it was great. It was over, 30-some thousand, maybe? About 30-some thousand, and Mr. Bullitt does a great job, I tell you. He's quite a character, but he does a great job for the community. And moving on, I was invited to Shihai Championship Breakfast, Ignite the Champions with. I tell you what, we had a great time. I had a chance to speak a little bit, to talk to the faculty a little bit about being a champion, what it takes in order to be a winner. We had Delia, the principal. She's always fantastic, did a great job. We had Mrs. Barone there, the teacher of the year. We had the Florida State representative there, Diane Hart. We really had a great time, and the teachers were really motivated, and they were excited to come back. That's the part I liked the most. They were excited to come back. Moving down, then I had an opportunity. I was invited. I got a call. I had to go to Price Waterhouse Cooper. We had about 500 bags there, back to school bags. We had to pack for the students, and it was it was really good. We had about 40 Price Waterhouse employees there. You see, I'm with my man Raymond. We had a great time, and we did a lot. And I like to thank Price Waterhouse for their help, their employees coming out. Moving along. And also, I got a chance, my wife and I, she's by my side now. We're out there, and she comes a great deal with the old man. And we do it, we had Tanya Lewis School Bash with Mayor Jane Castor and quite a few other people out there. And we probably had about 500 backpacks that we gave out. And boy, it was hard out there, but we did it. We had a great time. And I was very thankful for the mayor to be out there, because I tell you, she's out there now. Mayor Jane Castor is out there at all times in the community, and that's a sign of a person that really, really care about their community. Also this week coming up, we're going to have a Saturday. We're going to have at Reagan. We're going to have at Allen Temple a back to school bash, and it starts at 1:00. And what we'll have there, we're giving away shoes. We did it last year. We probably had about 600 pairs of shoes. That's right, because Ms. Perez came. I think somebody else came. Ms. Hahn, Dr. Hahn came, I think. Yeah, I think she came. And we gave away all those shoes. So, you know, if any kid needs shoes, they need to come out this coming Saturday to Allen Temple A&E Church. And it starts at 1. We're going to give away books, supplies, and shoes. So that, we're looking forward for the community to come out, because we like to do a lot for the community. And I have something here, and I think that's very important, and it exemplifies what teachers do in Hillsborough County. Confucius says, choose a job you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life. And I truly believe our teachers in Hillsborough County is doing that. I really do. Because the ones that's working hard, they're choosing this job for life. And they love it. When you love something, it's not like you've been working. So I want to say best wishes to everyone for hoping you have a great year, teachers, and I know you will. Thank y'all so much, and thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Member Washington. Member Perez?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So yes, you know, Superintendent, the community always shows up when our children go back to school. And, you know, going to this one event on Saturday, they not only provided backpacks for our children, but they brought food for their families. 500 families were also provided sustenance, and also they got uniforms for them. They did the physicals for our students to go back to school. It was amazing. You know, our community here. You know, when I put on this T-shirt today, I thought, you know, Hillsborough Strong. Certainly, all our community is very much behind our students, and to watch this happening. So, I was on that side when our parents they had to choose between gas for their vehicles and their ability to get items for their children, and they ended up on that end. But, I want to talk about one thing I want to address before that is about what is the information we provide our teachers regarding human trafficking? Can we address that really quick?
Yeah, that would follow our mandatory reporting. Holly, you want to provide us an update on that?
Can you stop my time for a minute, please?
Okay, thank you. Well, first, let me please give much kudos to Ashley Caputi and her team, because they do put together a training for teachers. It's actually part of the training. Thank you. It's actually part of the training that we do initially to start school, that everybody does within the first 60 days. That's part of that. And there is also other training that's offered to teachers and available to them around this. As well, we also, our team distributes a handout that we've given to every school that talks about, if you are a student, what do you do if you see signs of this or you think you're involved? What do you do if you're an HCPS employee? And then what do you do if you're a parent or guardian? And we try to send this to schools so it can be out there and everybody can see what they can do. But we all are, as indicated, mandatory reporters, and if we think something's wrong, we do have to say something, because we want to make sure that our children are safe at all times.
All right. Thank you. I received a couple of phone calls, and the teachers, I guess new teachers, were not sure, and I just wanted to make sure that we are arming them with, the information in order to keep our students safe. Thank you for that. I also want to, I'm going to read a quote. It's in one of our elevators. Education is the most powerful weapon which you could use to change the world. It's from Nelson Mandela. At a time when mental health is at a crisis level, I, along with many, are very frustrated at the attack on our students' education. Over in St. Pete, there was part of the headlines this week. It talked about St. Petersburg social workers began to going on calls without police, making the agency one of only a handful across the country to do so. The rationale the department leader said was that social workers could offer more smoothing response to people in crisis, whereas the presence of armed cops escalated matters. The program had an immediate impact. In the first 9 months, social workers responded to more than half of the city's police calls in which no crime was committed. According to a study of University of South Florida, nearly 9,000 encounters with the public and without the presence of officers, no injuries had been reported. And as of today, the program approaches its third year. The police department is preparing to ask the city on Thursday, which is in a couple of days, for an additional $400,000 to expand. Our students experience today in their lives, unfortunately, things that I know I never imagined would happen beyond the fields of war. School shootings, mass shootings, suicide, online bullying, increase in depression, aggressive behaviors, homelessness, food insecurities, unemployment in households, a global pandemic that we all went through, and loss of parents due to this pandemic, and a host of many other issues that plague our youth today. I can't imagine being a young student in school today. But I do understand that taking away from the table issues that will line the tool bag of these students who pursue the career of mental health in the future is a major problem. The message being sent is that there are those who want to diminish many youth's voices, and that they're being made invisible. The more you silence someone, the more that you don't have to acknowledge them. The American Psychological Association is dismayed that this state is censoring high school psychology curriculum, that we are not providing our students with the tools for them to compete at a higher level, and that the bedrock of education is going by the wayside as the state continues to deprive our students from receiving a complete picture of the psychological window into human development. This censorship ignores the decades of science that many of us, including myself, learned and need to know to fully succeed in the study of psychology in high school and beyond. When in a time that our students are in a place to lead with knowledge, they are being deprived of that knowledge. This is certainly a sad time for history for them. This is a state that mental health and wellness is supposed to take a front seat in the healthcare industry. When I remember, that we tout mental wellness in the state. And now I strongly question this. What would be next? Targeting diabetic people for eating sugar? I'm just asking. The black community is already being targeted. Remember, first they came for many others, but because I was not them, I did not speak out, then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me.
Thank you, Member Perez. Member Vaughn?
Thank you. I have a lot to try to get through quickly. First and foremost, both Member Rendon, Member Chair Combs, and I went to CABA. Sorry, that was very loud, wasn't it? Went to CABA, Carrollwood Area Business Association event that they threw at Hill for all of District 1 and District 3 new teachers who are new to the district or just new to their schools. And per usual, it was amazing, fantastic. We gave away so many things, and there was food, and the excitement was just, something I hadn't seen before. So what a great way to kick off the year. We really left with our teachers feeling valued and appreciated, which is so important. So thank you to CABA. I wish I had had more time to queue up some of the cute pictures we took. I want to touch on Dibbles because I know we've had conversations about that. And at the last board meeting, we kind of talked about how we're going to be moving away from iReady this year. And one of the reasons I was excited about Dibbles is because it was a universal screener. And I know since it's not really being pushed as mandatory for our teachers this year, I'm a little worried about the transition of teachers not being trained on it but not utilizing Dibbles, and then us transferring from iReady, hoping to be prepared for that next year. So as we go through this year, what I'd really like is a statistic of who's using it, how many of our teachers are using it, and what we're identifying through it, right? Because the whole point was being a universal screener so that we could catch early developmental delays or reading deficiencies. So I'd like to get some real-time data on that. The next thing I wanted to talk about is I know that we're talking about how we're going to be transitioning from AP Psychology to AP ACE. There's still a lot of questions around that and what that means and how well that's going to transfer and what that looks like for different courses. So I know we had an email sent out. I'd love to put a FAQ on the website with a contact of someone that parents could actually call and talk to and get this information as they navigate that, so that parents have a lot of information about this course as opposed to the other course and what that means for their students' trajectory. Also, air conditionings. Getting a lot of good feedback about facilities, but still getting a lot of feedback that there's a lot of air conditioning's not working and it's boiling hot out there. So if we can make sure we're getting into those schools early before school starts and not scrambling last minute, I promised some people today that I'd make sure that I highlighted that again. The other thing I wanted to clarify is there's been a lot of information going back and forth about classroom libraries and what that looks like. And some teachers have showed pictures of empty libraries, and other teachers have said they've been able to fully stock their libraries. And from what I'm hearing, although we've armed our teachers with the tools that we've needed to scan in their personal books, which is very helpful, and we even had volunteers come and help them scan them, the holdup is that the media specialist has to approve all of those books once they've been scanned. And if there's only one media specialist who's trying to navigate thousands of books from different classrooms' libraries, those libraries are on hold until that can happen. So I don't know if we can get some more resources or what that looks like, but that one funneling through the media center is causing a lot of teachers to not be able to open their libraries, even though they've scanned their books. So I want to make sure that there aren't, classrooms that don't have access to libraries because there's so much work from one media specialist. So I'd like to address that. Also, there's a lot of questions about new legislation coming out that we haven't really talked about as a school board regarding LGBTQ rights. There's a lot of questions about the law coming out about preferred names and preferred pronouns and what that looks like, as well as there's a lot of GSA, Gay Straight Alliance clubs that support our LGBTQ students that don't have clarity on whether they can even operate or support our students this year with the legislation. And I'm getting a lot of concern about that. So to relieve anxiety for both parents and teachers, I'd love some clarification on that. And then finally, the frustration that I really seem to be getting from our parents, and let me say, I'm getting a lot of positive excitement about this year. I can't emphasize how, Hillsborough Strong isn't just us wearing the shirts. It's definitely a feeling out there from our community, and everybody's really hopeful and everybody's really excited. But with all of the information and last minute rulemaking coming out from the state, it's very confusing for parents and educators as well who just want to do the right thing. But the concern that I'm getting is clarity on parental rights. And again, I've asked at this last meeting how parents can opt out of some of this stuff, or, how they can make sure there's not PragerU, I can never get that right, being utilized by teachers if they can opt out of that, some of the standards. And we're not getting any answers, and they feel that there's not really a balance with parental rights, that we've been very attentive to make sure people could opt out of sex education if they didn't feel comfortable with that, or that they could do book challenges, but there's not as much information or access for parents on the other spectrum who want to be able to opt out or have their parental rights respected. So I'd like to do a better job as a county of making that stuff available and being responsive to parents, because there's a lot of frustration that are leading people to question whether they want to stay in our public schools, and we know those are the best place for our kids and for our families. So I want to make sure we don't lose them. Sorry, I went over on my time. Thank you very much.
Okay, no problem, Member Ron. I think everybody took a few extra minutes, but I think people are very passionate about what they're going on. I just want to talk about a couple things, and then I'll share some of the exciting things. I just want teachers to know that, iReady is not mandatory. That pre-testing is not mandatory. And I hope that that is going out to our administrators, our principals, and it's going all the way down to the teachers, because that, our kids are being tested so many different ways. And we know that there's only so many times that you can tell a child they're behind. You can catch that data point through dibbles. We don't have to over-test students. I think that's really important, and I want to make sure that our teachers are hearing this from our board, that it is not mandatory. Also, as far as AP Psych, I appreciate the way we handle it. My biggest concern for the AP Psych, and I want to make sure that students who are getting their AA, that they find out ahead of time, maybe they need to take an AP class. Is that class going to definitely be counted as credit? We don't want kids to get to the finish line and then find out that they can't get that. So I really want to make sure we bring proactive. And that's why one of the biggest concerns for me was, what are other districts doing? Large districts like Brevard County. I know we're waiting for Miami-Dade. We know what Orange County are doing, because in a year, 2, 3 years from now, those kids are all competing for the same spots in our top universities in Florida. And we don't want a student to have an advantage in another county and us being a disadvantage. That's why I think it's really important that you included, and thank you for including what other districts are doing. And it looks like the large ones are doing that. We still don't know about Miami because they started a little bit later, but I feel very confident seeing that Brevard and Orange County and Duval County and Pasco and Pinellas are doing the same thing. And just a couple of things. It's just been a great time of the year. And Pablo, I shared some pictures with the Bullard family with this event. It was so great. Actually, one of those was my former student at Franklin Middle School and all her children. And her oldest is going into Hillsborough High. So I said, boy, that kind of made me feel old. But it was just awesome running into one of my former students there with her children. And then obviously going out, we went out to a lot of different events. That was the one at the mall, Parent Magazine, which is such a great magazine, hosting such a great event, and then going out to Franklin and doing some events. We went to a lot of different places, and Pablo, you can keep sharing them. Being able to go out to the transportation, being able to see safety and security. And I said this, we never know who's going to touch a child's life. Everybody thinks it's always going to be a teacher or a principal or counselor. But for me, I know when I was a teenager, the person who impacted me the most was my bus driver. In middle school, he had the most impact on me and really cared for me, how I was doing in the beginning of the day, at the end of the day, and same with our security. I mean, every single person counts in our district, and every single person can impact a child's life. And we just had so many great back-to-school teacher events. Idlewild Baptist, that was such a great event. It was Pasco and Hillsborough County teachers. And I said, next year I'll be going there to try to poach some of those teachers. No, I'm just kidding. But it was a great event. We had so many, Miss McCrae was there, and Dr. Whalen was there, and we saw so many great events. And then this morning we had the Carrollwood Area Business Association event with Member Rendon and Member Vaughn and I. We hosted that together, and we had so many teachers from around the district. And I love the picture with the young lady in the red. Her mom is my lifelong mentor from USF and really encouraged me to go into education. And here's her daughter going into her first year of teaching. So that was a really full circle. So that was amazing. I want to wish all of our teachers, administrators, everyone, faculty and staff, a great year. And I'm so excited. We are Hillsborough strong. We are so excited about the upcoming year. And as I close, this has happened the last couple of meetings. We're here. The main reason we're here is for kids. We have a young man here today who is he's working on his badge, his scout badge. And you can come on up here. We have Anthony. This is Minold, and he is a rising senior at Steinbrenner High School, and he is working on becoming an Eagle Scout. And so we spoke today, and so he is going to close our meeting out for us today.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Meeting adjourned.